Okay, today we're going to be talking about archery shots for hunting situations. One thing that I've learned while hunting is we all start off shooting our bows from the upright position, standing on two legs, and we get really good at that. And we're like, all right, I'm ready to go. And then you get out into the field, and sometimes you're sitting in a tree stand, standing in a tree stand, sitting in a ground blind, spot and stock. Now you're on the ground, now you're kneeling, now you're sitting cross-legged. Sometimes you have to shoot at an angle from a height. All of these things we don't necessarily practice before we go out, which is something that you should start to get into the habit of. It's something that I'm doing as well, because over the last couple of years I've realized that we practice year-round for that one opportunity, that one time when we might be able to get out there and try and shoot an animal, and sometimes we put ourselves in positions that we're not 100% comfortable with because we didn't practice that way. For example, you're in a tree stand, sometimes I'm standing, sometimes I'm sitting, I'll alternate the two. If you hear an animal coming in and you might have some cover and you might be able to get yourself up into a standing position, if that's your preferred position, then great, but that's not always going to be the case. You're going to have to shoot from a sitting position. So you need to practice sitting in a chair to get that comfortable so that when the situation presents itself, it's not a problem for you. You're just going to do it and not think twice about it. Same goes for kneeling, whether it's on two knees or one knee, or you're leaning back on your heels, or you're sitting in a cross-legged position, not necessarily in a seat. These are all positions that you should practice when you're doing your archery practice before you get out into the field to hunt, because you could find yourself in that position. You want to be the best prepared that you can be for any opportunity that may present itself. You know, some of us get a week a year to hunt, 2 weeks a year, or maybe a couple of weekends here and there. You want to make sure that you're 100% ready to go so that should the shot opportunity present itself, you're able to make it with confidence and be effective with your shot. So today we're going to go through a kneeling position, a sitting cross-legged position, sitting in a chair, and shooting from heights on an angle. Let's go. Today we're going to be shooting down at my shooter buck target that's down in the grass there by that tree. There's a block target behind it. These arrows generally blow through it, so we're going to go for that. As always, I'm shooting my Prime Nexus 4, 70 pounds, 30-inch draw. I've got my quiver on here because I hunt with my quiver on. I always want to have my arrows ready to reload for a follow-up shot. I know some people will take their quiver off when they're in a ground blind or in a tree stand situation. I prefer to have mine on so that it's a quick access if I need to get to another arrow. So if that's how you're going to shoot, that's how you're going to hunt, then make sure that when you do your practicing, you do practice with your quiver on to get used to that extra weight. Although it is minimal, it is good to practice with that extra weight so that you are practicing with what you're going to be shooting with when you're in that situation. Okay, so we got ourselves down into our kneeling position. Again, whether that's two knees or one knee up, you got to think about it. Nothing changes here. We got to keep our upper body from waist up is going to be the same as if we were standing. We're just in a different position on a different platform. Go through your mechanics the same way you would if you were standing. Have a good shoulder width apart with your legs, whether you're on your knees or you've got one knee up. And again, nothing changes. Now, if you're in this position, you're probably trying to make yourself as small as possible. So don't be drawing from the air and coming down. I know a lot of people will do that. That generally means that your draw weight is too much for you. If you can't hold your bow up at bow height and draw back, your draw weight is too much for you. So you're going to want to change that. So like I said, get yourself in your position. Make sure you have as sturdy of a platform as you can. Bring your bow up, draw back. Go through your fundamentals and execute your shot. Just like that. Okay, when you're in the cross-legged or seated position, nothing changes. Just remember, focus on your upper body, okay? You're not going to be able to shoot square on. Turning and torquing yourself is not going to be the most comfortable position. If you can get yourself so that you're in your regular T formation, you just got to worry about your fundamentals. Keep your back straight. And again, like we said before, no sky drawing. If you're doing that, your weight's probably too much for you. Get it up, pull it back, anchor, and it's just like being standing. Sitting in a chair, very similar to being cross-legged. You kind of half on, half off. So right, the crease of my butt is on the edge of the chair. Gives you a little bit more sturdy of a platform and you feel more straight up and down. And it's the same thing. Keep your fundamentals the same, just like you're standing. Execute your shot. Again, when you're in a ground blind, sometimes people will sit square on, looking out the window. You got a window here, you got a window here. That's great if you're shooting out this window, but if you got something coming out here or coming out there, you're out of luck because you can't get a good, I mean maybe you can, but for me I don't really like this position at all. So what I'll do is, instead of turning myself so I'm literally trying to not fall off the chair and only have like one cheek on the chair and one off, I'll tilt the chair in the blind like this. Now I'm in a better position. I can draw back and anchor this way. I can look out the side window here. I can look out the front, and if need be, I can slightly adjust myself and shoot out the other side. That's what I found has worked best for me. Again, try different ways for yourself, see what works the best, but not having your chair square on in a blind situation is what I think is the best, because it's just not, it's not comfortable. So you got to find what works for you. All right, I know this is a little ridiculous, but I'm doing my best, trying to give you a little bit of an idea. So I'm at a height, obviously I'm going to be higher in a tree stand. You're on an angle, shot's down there. Do not bend with your arms and try and make a shot by keeping yourself straight up by moving your arms, because what you're doing is you're offsetting your tee, the archery tee that you're supposed to be maintaining, keep the arrow flight perfect. You're messing with that when you change. Now you got one arm here, your anchor's all messed up, the other arm's not lined up, not the way to go. Draw like you're shooting straight, keep your T formation, bend at the hips. When you bend at the hips, everything stays the same. Bend, go through your shot sequence. When you mess around with your arms, your anchor point gets messed up, everything's out of alignment, you're gonna miss. Keep the same form, bend at your hips, fire. Once you get to do that a fair bit, you'll probably get into more of a comfortable fashion that you can get yourself in that jointed hip position and draw back and be ready to go. But again, all this comes with practice, so make sure you give yourself that time. Go through different scenarios, different shot sequences, different distances, different heights, different positions, and get yourself ready for whatever you may face when you're out there. Okay, there you go. We talked about different positions in archery for bow hunting. Whether you're kneeling, one knee, two knees, sitting on the back of your heels. Just keep your legs shoulder width apart. Everything stays the same. Keep your body straight, upright, maintain that T, and release your shot. Same goes for being in a seated cross-legged position. Keep your back straight, focus on your upper body. And again, generally for me, I don't want to be square on seated. I like being slightly turned to the side or fully turned so that I can keep that shot. Okay. Seated in a ground blind, same thing. I personally don't like being square on because I'm always adjusting, and I've usually got half my butt on the chair, or I'm trying to sturdy myself by having my leg out a little bit farther, whereas if I slightly tilt the chair and angle myself a little bit, I've got this covered, I've got this covered, and if I need to, I can adjust slightly and shoot out the other window. All of this comes down to practice. You have to practice these shots. Get yourself in the position where you are comfortable with whatever you're going to be up against. The same goes for being up high, being in an elevated position. I know some of these are hard. Not everybody has the opportunity to practice this, but if you can, I suggest you do. It's only going to help you further down the line when you have that one opportunity, that one chance to execute your shot on an animal. You want to make sure that you're in the best position possible and that you are comfortable with that position so that you can accurately execute your shot. So get out there and practice. Practice, practice, practice. Get comfortable. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I release another video. It's really helping the channel. So make sure you do that, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share them with your friends and let me know what you'd like to see next.